Hi guys, this is Shiva Reddy. Welcome to the session on Json. In this session, we are going to look at how to work with uh, Json for the Java user-defined objects. I am going to explain this concept using an example. So let us go ahead and start our Eclipse. So now I have this is my Json project I have used for previous tutorial. So I am going to create a new class, and here I am calling this class as employee, and I am clicking on finish. In this employee class, I am going to define or declare three properties, that is private int employee ID and private string emp name, private string company name. So I declared three properties, and now I am going to generate setter and getter methods for these three properties. So generate setters and getters for these fields. Click OK. So I just declared three properties, and and I have generated the setters and getters for these three properties. Now I am going to create a one more class to test this functionality, that is Json user defined objects demo. I would like to have a main method in this class. So click finish. Now what I need to do is, first I am going to create a object for the employee class, employee equal to new employee, and I am going to set properties, set values to the properties. 101 emp dot set employee name Shiva, and company name I am giving as set company name Java Tech. So it is simple. I have created an employee object, and as I assigned values to the properties. Now my intention is I want to convert this employee object equivalent of JSON using the Json class. So JSON object equal to new Json, and Json dot to JSON, and you need to pass ample object. Okay, now what I have done is I have created an employee object, assigned proper values to the properties, and now using the JSON I am converting this to JSON equivalent of JSON representation for the employee class. So what I can do is, this is emp JSON, because it is going to return me the JSON in a string format. So I have assigned that one to emp string variable. Now I am going to print this value emp JSON. Sorry, it is JSON. Okay, now I am going to run this program. Now what happens is, the JSON is going to take this employee object and automatically convert this Java equivalent object to corresponding JSON format. So right click on it, run as Java application, and if you see, this is the equivalent JSON representation for the employee object. emp id is equal to 101, emp name equal to Shiva, and company name equal to Java Tech. This is called as a serialization. Serialization is nothing but converting the Java object is equivalent of JSON format is nothing but the serialization. Now we will see the deserialization. So in order to do the deserialization, you need to have a JSON equivalent JSON representation, and that you need to pass to the Gson, and this will convert you to the equivalent Java object. So what you need to do is Gson dot from JSON. So here you need to pass the string representation of the employee JSON, and you need to tell what type of class it is. Here you need to say type is employee dot class. Now JSON going to take this emp JSON string representation, and it is going to convert the equivalent object for the employee class. Now you can get this employee object, or I'm going to create one more reference for it. Emp employee emp1 equal to Gson. Okay, now I can go ahead and run this program, but we need to see the output of it, right? So what I can do is I am going to print this newly assigned emp1 object values. So that emp id emp1 dot get employee id and emp name equal to emp1 dot get emp name, and the company name, and company name is equivalent to emp1 dot get company name. Now if I run this program, you can see the output as this is the equivalent Java JSON object representation of the employee object, first employee object. And after you convert the JSON format to equivalent Java object, then this is the output. So using the Json class, you are successfully able to serialize and deserialize the Java objects, vice versa. So here we need to remember few points with respect to the serialization and the deserialization. The first point is about the properties. In order to convert the Java object into corresponding JSON representation, you can declare or define any type of the access specifier for the properties. So we don't have any restrictions over the properties. So you can declare any type of the properties. That is the first one. And second one is, if by default when you create a class and assign and declare the properties, then by default all the properties in this class are going to participate in the serialization process. And if you don't define any value, then by default there will be a during the serialization, if you don't define any value, or then by default those values will be ignored. So I'm going to explain this concept one by one. The first one is, whatever the properties we are defining, we are declared in the employee class, by default if you assign those values to the variable, then you are able to successfully convert to equivalent of that JSON representation. And second one is, if you don't want any particular variable, don't want to be participate in the during the serialization process, then you can declare those properties as a transient variable. Then what happens is, this property does not participate in the serialization. That means while you are converting from uh, Java object to the equivalent JSON, this property will not be there when you are running this program. So I am going to run this program now. Then what happens, you can see. See here, in this case, we have only two. One is employee ID, employee name, but company name is not there because we marked that property or that variable or the proper instance variable as the transient. Hence, it does not participate in the serialization process. At the same time, during the deserialization also, the JSON is going to ignore those uh, properties where you have marked the instance variables as a transient. That is a one point. And second point is, even if you are declared the variables, but if you don't assign any value to it, that means while creating an object you have created, but you did not assign any value for the particular the instance variable, then the whatever the property you didn't define, then those properties will not be shown during the serialization process. Now even if I run this program and you do not see the company name because you didn't define any value to this particular instance variable. Hence, there are two cases you does not see these properties in the JSON representation when you convert from Java object to the equivalent JSON representation. One is when you mark the instance variables as a properties as a transient variable, and second one is you even though you even though you uh, declare the property instance variables, but you did not assign any value for that. These two scenarios, you cannot find the corresponding instance variables in the JSON representation. Even during the deserialization process also, you cannot the Gson does not convert those values and assign value to the particular properties, because by default those will be assigned as a null values. That is the reason if you see in this scenario, when I get the company name, by default I am getting as a value null. Hence, this is the another point when we are working with the JSON. And yeah, that's all. So hope you are clear with how to convert from Java object equivalent of JSON representation and vice versa using the Gson library. I will see you in the next tutorial with the few more concepts with respect to the Gson. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please comment on my YouTube video and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more updates from my technical tutorials.